College Classic. Did you say College Classic Campus Hits? Do you want to hear a Whopper by Larry D.Harper? I'd like to take the time to apologize to anyone if I've offended you. I'm not a pastor. I'm just an encourager. I think my first early videos have told you something about that. I'm seeking the Lord just like everyone else who is that isn't complete. Whether or not I should be reading the books, I have to ask for permission to do so. Or it has to say on the books there that you can't do this and that I won't do it. So I got permission from these guys to do this and to go on YouTube and to encourage other people to read. And it helps. Some friends say that the only book that you should be encouraged to read would be the Holy Bible, and yes, I agree with that, but I like reading. And if I just read the Holy Bible as much as I read, I would have read the Holy Bible 100 times. And that's not a bad thing. It's not bad. But I'm sure that the early prophets and minor prophets read more than the book of Isaiah and the Tanakh and so forth and so on. But I do like to read, so I'm going to share this book with you that I'm reading here. I like the way this guy writes and thinks. I just don't like the criticism. But other than that, I can get over that. He doesn't cuss. I realize Satan has gone to great lengths to gain widespread acceptance for his own perverted interpretations. Excuse me, I don't like that name. So I'm going to scribble out that. Widespread acceptance for his own perverted interpretation of this passage. It's an integral part of the deception. That's why my first publication was the book Not All Israel is Israel. I suggest that you read that book extremely carefully, then reread it again and again until you fully understand the essential points I made there. That's funny because that's true. I was living next door to an Islamic mosque once, and I had a conversation once with one of the imam's sons, and he said that his father was an Israelite. And I said, really? Yes, Palestinian Israelite. And I said, oh, that's very interesting. And he had been in the Marine Corps here in America. We were arguing, so it took me very, very much so to a conditioning. There was a lot of questions that I had, and we got into an argument over it. But it is the foundation on which I am going to build the message God called me to deliver to all those who seek to know the truth in this generation. So if you can't understand the message of that book, or if you don't agree with it, I advise you to look elsewhere for whatever it is you seek. But should you choose to reject the central truth I presented in Not All Israel is Israel, I warn you, it is something the wicked one does not want you to believe. Understand me clearly. Everything I teach is based on the fact that Jesus Christ is the Israel spoken of the prophets. As I explained in Not All Israel is Israel, every Jew except Jesus Christ has been cut off from Israel by the time Israel, Jesus Christ, accepted the terms of the new covenant when he was baptized by John the Baptist. There is therefore now no Israel other than Jesus Christ as far as God is concerned. And that is why Paul says Christians, as members of the body of Jesus Christ, have become joint heirs with Christ of the promise that God made to the patriarchs. The early church fathers understood full well that unregenerated Jews are no longer a part of Israel. They knew the Jews had been cut off from Israel and Gentiles were being grafted in, yet idiots still tried to refute with Paul what Paul wrote to true believers at Rome. For he is not a Jew who is one outwardly, neither is circumcision that which outward in the flesh, but he is a Jew who is one inwardly. And uncircumcision is that which is of the heart by the Spirit, not by the letter. And his praise is not from men, but from God. Romans 2:28. God. 29. I have trespassers in my home who claim ISIS. They're in a mobile home park where I live. If you want to state the case in the same way that John Calvin and Justin Martyr did, the church is spiritual Israel. However, it would be best if you didn't do that. Use the parabolic imagery of the scriptures that the apostles and the prophets used and let it go at that. The church as the body of Christ is Israel. The designation spiritual Israel implies there is a literal Israel other than the church, the body of Jesus Christ, when in fact there isn't. It is true that, parabolically speaking, true believers are members of the spiritual body of Jesus Christ. So in that sense, the church is spiritually Israel. In every other sense, however, true believers are collectively literal Israel because the spiritual body of Jesus Christ is literal Israel. So you can see it was only the reformers' fuzzy thinking in regard to the Jews in the millennium that left the door open for the wicked one to entice some fool into crafting the goofy notion that the Jews are literal Israel. Yeah. The wicked one picked his man 170 years ago, and he was been busy ever since making sure his lie is seen as the gospel truth by as many true believers as possible. And that's why I'm going to tell you what the wicked one's lie is, and then explain how he intends to use it to shepherd billions, millions, hundreds of millions of people into his deception when he appears as the Antichrist that way. If you choose not to believe me, you will be responsible for your own destruction. College Classic Campus Hits. You want to hear a Whopper?